Hello. It's been a while. It's been a few months, 3 months maybe. Sorry about all that. Yeah, I'm just lazy. So I apologize for all that. But you can probably see from the title. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the Borderlands characters in a tier list. A good old tier list. What gets views? There isn't a tier list, man. Come on. Tier lists are so easy to do. You just voice your opinion, see everyone disagree with it, and you get bare attention. And then boom. Bear in mind, I recorded this a few months ago, so my opinion on it could have changed slightly, but my general opinion of some of the characters stayed the same. If I say some stupid stuff, sorry, I didn't mean it. It's me being stupid, but, you know, without further ado, I'll let you watch that. Look for upcoming videos that are going to be coming out soon, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Enjoy. Alright, so let's go. Ranking the characters. You know how it works. S, A, B, C, D, E, F. Every single character in Borderlands history that's actually like an NPC or a mainline character. None of this fucking Steve. And there's no face McShooty, because if they'd be in the list, come on guys, you know they'd be all the way at the top. But yeah, I'm going to be ranking them. I was actually inspired by Killer 6 to make this because he did a list that I didn't really agree with a lot of the decisions that he had made. Obviously that's fine, it's his opinion, which is also why I think it's good that people can actually do this and have their own little tier list. If you don't agree with mine, you can comment that you don't agree with mine and I should go fuck myself. That's perfectly okay. You can do that, and actually I encourage you to tell me to go fuck myself if you don't agree with my opinion. Also, I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can do it yourself. So if you don't like the list, just fucking click off the video, go make it your fucking self. Right, so Killer 6 didn't do it in fucking order, which kind of pissed me off a bit. Like, bruh, just do it in order, lads. We're going to be starting off over here with Amara. Now, I know she's a siren and all that, and I didn't main her for the majority of Borderlands 3. I played as Mose and Flak. I never really played as Amara and Zane a lot, but I have extensively listened to all of their echo logs, seen gameplay of them, and watched all of their in-game lines that they can have in some of the DLCs, so I kind of know where they're coming off at. I'm going to really want to put Amara like C or D tier, especially for a siren. I don't know if it's just because of Borderlands 3's story, but the fact that the story reigns so supreme with the whole siren concept, they don't really discuss the fact that there's one stood right next to them. And also, why do the Tyrene and Troy Calypso twins, why do they not try and leech her? I don't understand that, so I don't really want to rank her low just because of the story, but I'm going to rank her low because of the story. Fuck that. She's not interesting as a siren. Whilst, yes, she does have some of the most interesting powers that they can have, I never really found myself getting attached to her character that much. Honestly, the other sirens are just better in every way, in my opinion. Next up, we've got Angel. Now, while she's a bitch most of the time to, like, the whole Vault Hunter crew, she's actually pretty good in terms of the fact that she has a redemption arc, and she's got a really sad story. I mean, just look at her face, bro. She looks so fucking sad. I don't like the mission where you go and kill her, but she got treated like shit, and I actually liked her character, so I'm gonna rank her as a high B. She's not too great, but she's also not average or terrible, so I think that's a good place. Athena is actually one of the oldest characters in this list. Believe it or not, she did not come into the franchise in the pre-sequel. She was in Borderlands 1. While she looked completely different, she was a part of General Knox's mercenary thingy. I never really played the General Knox DLC because the game was already a few years old when I started playing Borderlands 2, and I thought there's no reason for me to go back. But I played her in the pre-sequel, and she's very, very funny, as well as in the Tales from the Borderlands. She also has quite a prominent role in the whole story, and she's quite a good character. So I feel like I should put her higher than Angel, but also I'm not going to put her higher than Angel. She goes right about there. She's okay. I like her action skill. I also like the lines that she had and the fact that she kind of just talked through the whole of the pre-sequel. I just love characters talking because I'm so used to Borderlands 2's characters just barely talking but still having loads of personality. So when they actually talk, they have way more personality in my opinion. And while she's an emo goth sad bitch, you can see it by her face, she's a very lovable sad emo goth bitch. Axton. Now Axton was the character I probably played the least in the Borderlands games. Only because at later levels, in my opinion, he wasn't very fun to play as because I wanted to use his turret and they just basically became slag guns. Didn't really feel like that was a good way for me to play the game. And whilst he is funny in some regards, I'm not going to put him in D like Killer 6 did, fuck me. But I'm going to put him in
C tier. I still think that every single Borderlands 2 character will go above every single Borderlands 3 character, apart from maybe Flak, just because of my nostalgia, but once again, my opinion, shut the fuck up. Now, if we're basing Lilith off of purely Borderlands 2 and 1, she's going to go straight here, but then the fact that in Borderlands 3 she kind of got ruined, I kind of need to put her down a few pegs. I'm not going to put her down like here, because that is just not paying good enough respect to a character, and the fact that she was good in Borderlands 1 and great in Borderlands 2 doesn't take away from the fact that she was shit in Borderlands 3, but it also won't mark her down as much because she was good in 2/3 of the games. So I'm going to rank her as a high B. She's not amazing because of Borderlands 3, but then she's not terrible because of Borderlands 1 and 2, so she's going to be in the top half. Next is Ellie. I never really liked Ellie, I'm not going to lie. She's kind of annoying, but like she does have one really iconic line in Torg's Campaign of Carnage, which is like, "Take a look at my junk. Yard." So just because of that line, she makes it into a high C, because she has a very funny, iconic line, and ha ha ha, funny because she's obese. Now Maya, Killer 6 put Maya here. Like, fuck that, bro. I'm gonna put her right there. Not only because of Borderlands 3, RIP, Ava killed you, / Ava's a bitch, fuck that bitch, man. Also because she was my favourite character to play in Borderlands 2. She had some funny voice lines. When she went AFK, she had even funnier voice lines. And in the DLC, some of the headhunters, they gave her some really funny voice lines as well. But also, I just like her overall character out of all of the Sirens. She just seems the most interesting, and she seems to be the only character that really went out of her way to go searching for all of this answers towards the Sirens and things. While Lilith did, she kind of gave up and then became a Crimson Raider / the Firehawk, but Maya didn't. Plus, I think blue hair is better than red hair, so like, fuck you. Bloodwing's gonna go straight into F. Oh my fucking god. Yes, in the first game, Bloodwing was pretty good as an action skill. However, I just prefer Talon, and Bloodwing was a bitch boss fight. I just didn't like it. Also, if you mained Mordecai in the first game and you put a hell of a lot of hours into it, then maybe I'd see your reasoning for why you'd put Bloodwing high, because you had to kill her. Nah. Why the fuck did you put the goddamn claptrap upgrade on her collar, you goddamn communist? So Mordecai's actually quite a fun character to listen to, especially in the cutscenes of Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep DLC, but he's also a mood killer, I'm not gonna lie. I would put him above Axton, but below Ellie, because Ellie's got some more funny lines, and I just think she's more iconic of a character in the actual main story. While Mordecai, yes, does some funny stuff in the DLC, he is really fucking annoying, and his slag sniper does no damage, but it does help you out in the missions that he's with you in. Like, is it even a question? You can't do anything but put Claptrap in S tier. I mean, fucking what? If anyone puts him lower than S tier, you just don't love robots, bro. And that's racist. Brick is gonna go straight into D tier. Above Amara, though. Why do I put the fucking Borderlands 1 hunters so low? Well, Brick is just more annoying than anything, in my opinion. The fact that the first mission you get introduced to him in is kind of boring, in my opinion, but also, until the DLC, in one cutscene of Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, I never really liked him. Just doesn't really pay dividends. You can't make up for a character being shit with one cutscene. Loads of people will disagree with me on this one, and Killer 6 especially put him way higher than I would have ever put him. I just don't get what the appeal is of him. If, once again, you played Brick in the first game and you have this attachment to him like I do to the Borderlands 2 Vault Hunters, you would probably place him higher. But me, I just found him annoying in the second game. Whilst in the first game, he is a lot more toned down and doesn't just get basically turned into a Dumbo with big arms. He was basically a walking slab of behemoth meat, but he wasn't so over the top as he is in the second game, and honestly really annoying. Butt's dying, and I'm only going to be ranking her because of the fucking gemstone weapons. It's going to be below Athena. Yes, I put Butt's dying above Ellie, Mordecai, Axton, Brick, Amara, and Bloodwing. But once again, only because, one, Jack talks about Butt's dying, and I think, how the hell have you got a pony made of diamonds? And then you can finally see what she looks like. But also because she gives you the gemstone weapons. So cheers for that. She's more important to the game than most other characters because she gives you a good fucking gun. I'm sorry, Commandant Steele. You are the lowest of the low. Interesting concept. This is the only one I really agree with Killer 6 on. Interesting concept, and she looked really cool. Fun fact, this is actually what Lilith was supposed to look like, or character was supposed to be. I don't really know if they were going to make Lilith look like Commandant Steele, or whether they were going to make Lilith into her character. Don't really know how that would work, whether Lilith would be the bad guy or whatever. But this was what she was supposed to look like. Whilst, yes, she did have an interesting concept, you didn't really see much of her. She got killed in the first cutscene you see of her, and then that's it. She never came back to the series, which is kind of a disappointment, honestly. But if they did a prequel to Borderlands 1, I would absolutely love to see her as a playable Vault Hunter. Reese. This one's a hard one, because Reese in Tales from the Borderlands is easily, like, top of A tier. But from Borderlands 3 and New Tales from the Borderlands, he kinda just dips. Now, I don't really like doing this just because the writers are shit, but they are the people who make the characters what they are. And at the end of Tales from the Borderlands, he learned his lesson about being a corporate snob and being all about money, especially considering he knew what Handsome Jack was really like and decided to just fuck him off because he thought he was a god at the beginning of the game, and then at the end of the game, he was like, wait, nah, bro, you're like kind of an asshole? That would put him here. But Borderlands 3 turns into the jokester who really doesn't land anything, gets a shit mustache, and just looks hella off, in my opinion. And then New Tales from the Borderlands, he basically just turns into Vasquez or Jack. So I'm gonna have to put him below Mordecai. He's still above Axton. Actually, no, fuck that, bro. First Tales from the Borderlands still puts him top of C tier, I think. Dr. Zed, first character that isn't Claptrap that you meet in Borderlands history, apart from the bandits, obviously. And he kind of just disappeared in Borderlands 3. Apparently he was doing something, but the fact that they didn't bring him back, one of the most iconic characters, is a fucking insult to his character. But honestly, him not being in the third game was kind of good because that means they couldn't ruin his character. So, because of the fact that he wasn't in Borderlands 3, he already is in B/A tier. But he doesn't really do much apart from give you the Doc Mercy mission and make a few jokes. So, where am I going to put him? I think he's below Angel, but above Athena. Honestly, iconic character, man. You can't put him any lower than this because it's just Dr. Zed, man. Come on, Zed's mates. Dr. fucking Zed. Fiona. She's easily better than Reese because Reese got ruined by Borderlands 3, and she, once again, like Zed, isn't in Borderlands 3. She isn't in New Tales from the Borderlands either, which is kind of funky considering they've only got one of the original characters in Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands. But her just being in that game as one wholehearted story really makes her character better because she's had the arc that she needs to have without being ruined by any other sort of media. So instantly, for me, she goes above Angel, but below Lilith. We've got all our three trio of women here, all amazing, all really fun in their own right. But honestly, Lilith's a bit better. But she is better than Angel, especially for that scene with the bro. You know what I'm talking about. Bro. Flak. Now, I've been playing a lot of Flak recently, like a hell of a lot of Flak. And I've gone through some of the DLCs with him, and especially the main game, you learn a lot about the Vault Hunters individually. And whilst Amara, I said I didn't main her, I still learn about them through this. Flak easily had better lines, in my opinion, just from how confused he seemed most of the time, or just like, no, or, okay. And it's really funny to me, I don't know why. So for me, Flak is probably going to go in A tier. Not above Maya, but definitely up there in A tier. He's just a great new addition to the franchise without ruining some of what makes it great, like Amara does with being a siren and not having any involvement with the siren-based campaign/story that we had. Aurelia goddamn Hammerlock. Now, Borderlands 3, she had a completely preventable death. I don't really know why they made it so you had to kill her. It could have been avoided. You could have just completely took her out of the game and the story would have been exactly the same. So I'm really only counting her from the pre-sequel. Now, in the pre-sequel, she is a bitch, and she constantly makes remarks, but that's just funny. We need someone who isn't just jokey all the time. We need someone who is annoying or is a bitchy character. Now, for me, that puts her not higher than Lilith, not higher than Fiona, but higher than Angel, in my opinion. Because one, she has a cool arc at the end because she realizes how much of an ass handsome Jack is, and for her to think someone's an asshole, that really pays dividends to the fact that they've learned along the way that someone is a fucking asshole. But also because she's just a funny character, she's funny to listen to, and she's a very interesting person, and it's unfortunate that they killed her off. If you've ever listened to Gage's Echoes, you will know she's already here. Come the fuck on. She is such a quirky, interesting character, and Marcy, that she has this obsession with that she killed, made me fucking crack up when I first heard these echoes. And whilst, yes, like Maya, like Zero, like Salvador, like Krieg, like fucking Axton, they didn't have as many voice lines as all the other characters. She returned in Borderlands 3 for what I assume is a bit of fan service in the Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC, and she is just as amazing as she left off. Whilst being a wedding planner isn't exactly what I pictured her doing, and it's a bit of a retcon because of the story, she's still as funny as ever, and Deathtrap is just another great addition to the Borderlands universe, and obviously that comes along with her. Salvador. Now Salvador is funny, best character in Borderlands history apart from probably Moe's, and whilst he isn't the most entertaining character to have echo logs of, he's basically just a Pandorian that is basically wanted for everything. He does have some funny voice lines when you're killing enemies. He basically just screams all the time. But still, for me, he will go just above Ellie, but not above Reese, because Reese actually has such an amazing character, and the ones below it, I just think their character is either annoying or just not there. Handsome Jack himself. He can't not go in the top of S tier, let's be honest. He basically made the Borderlands 2 story, and for a lot of people was either the reason they played, remembered the game, or knew about it at all. The promotion basically splashed his face absolutely everywhere. He's on the main art box, he's with you throughout the entire game, and you can never escape him. Even after he died in Borderlands 2, he came back 3 separate times in the Tales from the Borderlands, in Borderlands 3's Handsome Jackpot DLC, and obviously in the pre-sequel. They made such a good villain, they had to return to using him because they just couldn't make anything better. And that speaks for a fucking character, let's be honest, boys. Timothy is basically just Jack, but he gets his own DLC, basically, because of the Handsome Jackpot. And the Handsome Jackpot made him so much better of a character, and if you've ever played him in the pre-sequel, him talking to what is essentially himself for half the game is really funny. So for me, Timothy is gonna go right here. He's gonna go behind Flak. Now, why would he go behind Flak? I'm actually thinking about that now. He probably shouldn't go behind Flak, honestly. I think I'm going to put him just in front of Maya. He's close to Handsome Jack, but I don't love him as much as I love Gage, Clappy, or Jack himself. Is it a bit of an unfair move? Why would I put Gage so high but him so low? Hey, it's my head, bro. I don't know, I just find Gage so fucking sick of a character. I'm really sorry, Janie Springs. You're better than these two, but I just found her missions and her side missions, apart from the one with Mr. Torg, because it had Mr. Torg in it, come the fuck on, were really annoying, and I'd never got into her character. Nothing against the writers, but I do feel like they were a bit weak in her character. Not everyone's character in the pre-sequel was terrible, which is why I don't accustom it to the writers particularly all the time, but just her character for some reason really just made me not feel much for her. It made it feel like if something happened to her I wouldn't really care that much, and you need to have that a lot. Now the only reason I'm not putting her in front of someone like Brick is because I actually did enjoy some things that Brick said, and especially in the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep campaign, he really gets a better spotlight, and she just really didn't get a chance to have one. Yes, she was in Tales from the Borderlands, and she's girlfriends with Athena, which probably does rank her up a bit, honestly, but her character just wasn't for me, honestly. She just wasn't for me. Quite forgettable, and she's one of the first characters you meet, so most of the first characters you meet are usually the most iconic, as you can see from here. These are literally the 2 first characters you meet in Borderlands 2. Krieg is also fucking up there. He's not as good, actually, fuck that, yes, he is better than Gage. He is better than Gage, and I argue he's kind of on the same level as Claptrap, Not only because they both got their own DLC into the mind of each character, but they've also got a very sad backstory, and they've got a lot going on in their head. So in my mind, they're pretty much ranked equally. They're both absolutely funny, entertaining characters with amazing voice lines, and if you've ever looked at the backstory into Krieg, you just know how sad and also kind of funny it is. Is that Loaderbot? Loaderbot, honestly, is better than Fiona. Loaderbot is just Loaderbot. Come on. It's Loaderbot. If you've never played Tales from the Borderlands, play it for him. And don't fucking kill him. I swear to God, I will murder you and your entire family. Marcus Kincaid. Kincaid. Marcus. He is iconic. He is the introduction to every Borderlands game with that little introduction. And apart from Borderlands, the pre-sequel, he introduces every single game. Iconic character. However, and this is a big however, his character in 3, like most other characters who are in 3, really toned him down a bit. They didn't really do much with him. Now, that's actually in his favour, because the characters they did the most with get ranked down the most. So Marcus is easily top of B tier. Now, if you look at this objectively, you're like, bro, you've ranked Marcus higher than Lilith. Loaderbot, alright, I'm not gonna. My Loaderbot is at the top. Let's be fucking real. Let's be frank. Let's be frank. Loaderbot is at the top. But yeah, I've marked Marcus higher than Lilith, Fiona, Euralia, Angel, Dr. Z. I mean, everyone here. He's just a really iconic character. I love him. He's grumpy, but he's also got a heart in him. And they could expand on him if they really wanted to, but unfortunately they haven't. They might do in the next game. I mean, hopefully they do, because he really needs his own DLC or something around him. Just a few more side quests, and his character will be a hell of a lot better. Moxie is also up here, and I'm probably going to put her just below Krieg, but ahead of Gage, because her character is hella funny, and she's really iconic in the franchise. But I don't think her character is as built up as these 3 characters are. And also, if I had all 4 of these in a room, I would love to see the conversation they'd have. All 5 of these in a room, I'd love to see the conversation they'd have. Now, most of the time I would be ranking them, honestly, on who would I like to just talk to, or have one of them talk to another one of the characters. And these are probably who I'd want to have a conversation with the most around a table. Just hearing Handsome Jack chat shit to Claptrap while Krieg says just some really weird shit about how he wants to ride a meat bicycle made for 2. Moxie says some kinky shit and then says, do you want to go to a biodome with fucking slaughterhouses in it? And then Gage is just like, yeah, well, my robot is my death trap, my robot. Mose is similar to Gage in the fact that she is basically a loner who only has a robot, and I'm probably just going to rank her up because of the fact that she's the first ever character I played in Borderlands 3. I've listened to literally every single one of her echo logs, I've listened to every single one of the voice lines she has, and I know that she is the best character in all the Borderlands apart from Salvador. Yes, there is probably a bit of favoritism going on here, but I'm going to rank her just above Flak. Though she, in the main game, can come off as a bit boring. She's a hell of a lot more sarcastic and funny in the DLCs. And for me, that's like the perfect humor. It's just like sarcasm, self-deprecating stuff. And she basically just sums up the UK perfectly. And I do prefer her over Flak. Nisha is great in the pre-sequel, however in Borderlands 2 she's basically just the Sheriff of Lynchwood, but she does have some cool voice lines in that, and when you kill her you can't help but feel a bit bad if you've played the pre-sequel. So I did have a bit of emotion when I did kill her, so that means that she's going to rank up higher than these fucking bitches. But I'm going to put her at the bottom of C tier. She's not as iconic as these characters, and honestly, I never played her in the pre-sequel even though she was one of the better characters. Nurse Nina. Nurse Nina's got some funny voice lines, however she's not as iconic as Dr. Z, so I'm not going to be ranking her in the B tier at all. I'm probably going to put her just above these 2, because I do think that she was a lot more funny than these 2, and also Russian character, come on, Russian voice equal funny. Roland, you're going to be the first, you're going to be the special man, because you're going to be the first one to take up E tier. This is gonna slay some minds. Some people are gonna be really pissed off with this one. But I never really liked Roland. In the first game, I actually mained Roland. Yes, I mained probably the worst character in the game. I didn't realise when I played it that he was shit, because he's the only character I really played. But even with that, I just never liked him. In Borderlands 2, I got a bit more invested in his character. But still, I was just kind of like, shut the fuck up, man, please. I had to go rescue you, and then you get yourself fucking killed after doing nothing the whole fucking game after I rescue you. Good riddance. Oh, that's gonna piss a lot of people off. Sasha. She's up there, I think. She's a pretty funny character. Don't know much about her after the Tales from the Borderlands because they don't really ever say anything after that. But she's gonna go just above Reese because they ruined Reese's character in New Tales and in Borderlands 3. So she's not been ruined yet. So that's why she ranks there. Scooter's easily going to go to the top of A tier. He's better than all these characters, and he's just an iconic character in the franchise. R.I.P. bro. A pleasure to meet you, Vault Hunter. I am Sir Hammerlock. Yeah, he's also iconic, and whilst he's kind of a boring character, and he has the worst DLC in all of Borderlands 2, in Borderlands 3, he is actually weirdly one of the characters that is better than in Borderlands 2, which is kind of hard to do. Honestly, I don't... Name a fucking character. Name a character that is better in the third game than in the second game. It's hard. It's very difficult to do that. And I argue he is probably the only character that is better. Maybe Krieg, but that's only because they had this whole DLC compared to a few voice lines in Borderlands 2. But even then, Sir Hammerlock has probably the most fun DLC that I have played in Borderlands 3, and he also has some fucking character now. He was basically just man who stands in Sanctuary and does hunting with no left arm, right arm, because of some fucking Thresher. So because of that, he's gonna probably go above Zed. Handsome Jack post-mortem / Tales from the Borderlands Jack. He is actually still really fucking funny. Whilst not as iconic as the original Handsome Jack, it's Jack. I mean, you can't do anything but put him pretty high. Still not better than Claptrap, but he is, for the time he is in the game, very funny. And also kind of a dick. Patricia Tannis. Now, Patricia Tannis was quite good in Borderlands 1, decent in Borderlands 2, and absolutely terrible in Borderlands 3. Now, good, decent, terrible. I think the terrible part of her weighs her character down a lot. So for me, she's gonna go in the bottom of D tier. Whilst, yes, she's the person who introduced you to Terramorphous. Thank you for that very much, Tannis. She is also fucking annoying in Borderlands 3, and I wish I could shoot her in the face. Also, the fact that she just takes the piss out of Maya dying. Fuck you, man. Gordis is up there. I'm going to put Gordis behind behind Moxie. Gordis is funny, he's very cute, and he also takes on the Traveller, which means that he's just an OG badass because he took on an entire Vault boss and he sacrificed himself for that. Spoilers, by the way. But it's Gordis. Come on, look at his little eyes. Tina! She's gonna go here. I'm gonna put her next to Krieg. It's kind of like... Oh, actually, okay. Yeah. So these three characters are very similar, actually. Apart from the fact that Tina didn't get a DLC where you go into her fucking head. You go into her mindscape. What she wants a world to be like because of her Bunkers and Badasses world. And she has probably the best DLC in all of Borderlands history, according to popular demand. People got an entire game out of her DLC. So she's a very liked character and a very, very well written one, at least in Borderlands 2 and her DLC. These three characters are on the same realm as each other in my opinion, but Tina just edges out Krieg, but still is as iconic as Claptrap in my opinion, plus the fact that Claptrap was a playable character. Tina, BL4, please, thank you. Now this one will stir some people up because some people do find Mr. Tog annoying, but he is, in my opinion, the second most iconic Borderlands character of all time. He's the character I find myself laughing at the most. Even 10 years later, I still crease myself at things that he says. And while not as iconic and as good as Handsome Jack, he's just Mr. Tog. He's so iconic and he's fucking hilarious. If you have never played Borderlands 2's Carnage DLC, Tog's Campaign of Carnage DLC, play it. Play it and do all the side missions. It is fucking hilarious. Love you, Mr. Tog. Yeah, I'm just gonna put you here. Why would I put him below fucking her? Well, whilst you don't get to see much of her, I think that's better than seeing a lot of something you fucking hate. Like, she knew when to shut the fuck up and die, and he just didn't. Captain Scarlet. He's not as iconic as Timothy or Scooter, but she's a very, very good villain / not villain, and she was a very fun DLC to play. Also quite a funny character. I did find myself laughing out loud at her DLC quite often, and R.I.P. Roscoe. Yeah, she's just like, I couldn't just not put them there, let's be honest, like, bruh. Vaughn is another controversial one, but also not. His character was ruined in Borderlands 3, and in Tales from the Borderlands he was very good, until they forgot about him. So, for Tales from the Borderlands, he'd be like easily in the B tier. But he has to go below Reese. He has been ruined more than Reese's character's been ruined. And honestly, I don't like him as much as Brick. Or Amara. Or Tannis. Or Roland. But because of Tales from the Borderlands, he will just go here. If it was just from Borderlands 3, I think I'd put him just below Janie Springs. But because it's from Tales from the Borderlands, he will go just behind Tannis. Now, Wilhelm was weirdly the character I mained in the pre-sequel. Yes, weird. I also mained the worst character in 2 of the fucking mainline franchise games. Wow. But I really liked Wilhelm's character. He was very hatey, didn't really like anything, was very grumpy. And I liked that throughout the whole game. However, you can't make up for everything with just being a grumpy person and not caring. So, unfortunately, he's going to go just below Nisha. Zane is very funny, and even though, once again, I haven't really played Zane very much, I've listened to his ecologues and they are really, really funny. So for that reason, I'm going to put him above Maya. Yep, above Maya. Change my mind. 0, I can't do anything but rank 0 next to Maya. I think they're on the same level. They're both very interesting characters, but the thing is with 0 is that there's still so much to establish about him. He's a very unknown character, and I absolutely love mysterious characters, things you don't know much about. You've never seen his face, you don't know if he's an alien. I mean, he is probably an alien, let's be honest, but he could also be a robot. And also there's a character called One, which we are yet to know much about, and that mystery surrounding him just makes me really like to edge him here. Plus, I mained him for a lot of Borderlands 2. Lorelei, very forgettable character, worse than Roland. Didn't really know what the fuck to make of her, but I didn't see her for very long. She's obsessed with coffee, that's all I really know about her. But the fact that I knew more about her than Janie Springs, apart from the fact that Janie Springs is a lesbian and that's about it, but like, that's not really a character trait. So the fact that you like coffee and you've got blue hair and purple face put you up a bit, but still not very iconic and kind of a forgettable character, honestly. Yeah, so Ava's obviously going to be the worst character because even though these guys were fucking terribly written and I hated them, at least they give you loot when you kill them. You can't even kill her, so that's kind of fucky. I wish in the Krieg DLC that you could kill her, because Krieg loved Maya, and she essentially got Maya fucking killed, right? So this is my idea. Raid boss. Or Krieg could be like, oh, I hated this blue girl face person, or whatever the fuck Krieg would say. And then it cuts to a cutscene of him trying to kill her with everyone trying to stop it. That would have been sick. But nah, the fact that these two at least give you loot puts Ava at the very bottom. Clay is also just like, eh. I liked him more than I did Lorelei, but not more than Roland and these characters. Enough said about him, you know, kind of just meh. Nakayama Kawakawa Katagama Jr. is a pretty fun character to play against, but also kind of not at the same time. He gets ruined single-handed by the fact that Reese is the person talking to him. He had a really cool concept, but they ruined his section of the game, so kind of forgettable. I actually kind of liked him more than Lorelei though, so I'm going to put him there. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like Typhon de Leon. I didn't like the fact that it turned out that he was a short character. When you see all these pictures of him being really tall, I didn't like what he sounded like. I didn't like the fact that he died super quick. And I didn't like the fact that he just kept going on about his wife, Letta? Someone like that, dying. The fact that they shagged in places, whatever, I don't give a shit. And also they made Tyreen and Troy his daughter and son kind of late into the game to do that. Also, I don't give a shit. Even listening to all of Typhon's logs, I just did it because I had to, and not because I really wanted to. But when I did play the game originally, I was very interested in this Typhon de Leon character. And honestly, I think it would have been better for the character to just not introduce him in the game as an actual character, but for you to collect these Typhon de Leon logs, not see him as an actual character, not have him die, and then introduce him someplace else. So you hear the name Typhon de Leon and you think, ooh, first Vault Hunter, and then you finally meet him after a game, or you meet him in a DLC or something, like Nereid. Nereid is such a cool character just because you've never seen her face, you don't know what she looks like, you don't know how she is, you don't know who she is as a person, but you do, and Typhon's also dead, so I think he goes just above Vaughn. Wainwright Jacobs, very forgettable apart from the Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC, but they just chain him to a chair for most of it, so, you know, you see him at the beginning, and then not really at all for the rest of it. And in the main game, he owns Jacobs, and his father owned Jacobs, and shit, and I don't really care that much. He's kind of meh. I remember him more than other characters, but still, I think he's gonna go there. So that is it. Yeah, kind of fucked. And honestly, I could make this tier list again in a week, and apart from these four, I'd probably put everyone in a different place, let's be honest. Everyone does this. I mean, you do this. Do a tier list right now, and then come back in a week and do it again. I dare you to try and put them in the exact same place you had them in. Apart from these, and apart from these, everyone will be in different places, because people change their mind about things all the time, or they forget things, or they remember things at specific points. So, other than that, yeah, this is my list. Now, the ones that really only matter are the F tier and the S tier. Everything in between is sort of like, probably could change at one point if I found a character that was a bit better than another character for some reason, or I could bump it up, or if I min-maxed every single person in the entire game. I could probably change this quite a lot, but this is just my initial thoughts right now. Handsome Jack is the most iconic character, Torg is the funniest character, Claptrap is probably the most annoying but also the best at just listening to character apart from Torg. Tiny Tina and Krieg have very interesting backgrounds, very sad, very meh. Krieg's got his own DLC, you go into La Head. Moxie, very iconic character. Very fucking funny robot, very fucking funny person with a funny robot. Very funny man, R.I.P. Basically this guy. Has a funny DLC, R.I.P. Pet. Iconic siren, iconic person, we have no idea who the fuck it is. Iconic North Irish person, iconic also because of the voice lines, and also person with robot. Iconic robot, iconic robot. Iconic because he's the only person that talks to you at the beginning of the game, and also he doesn't give a shit type of person. Got ruined by Borderlands 3, probably dead but maybe isn't. Why the fuck did they kill you? Why were you even in the third game? Nobody knows. R.I.P. Tragic life, but also you killed your mother. I get why Handsome Jack hated you, you fucking bitch. A pleasure to meet you, Vault Hunter. I am Sir Hammerlock. Cheers for giving me the fucking Dark Mercy quest. Thanks for the Infinity Pistol, bro. Cool shield. Also, where the fuck is she in this game? Because the Watcher and her were supposed to do things in this game, but where the fuck is she in Borderlands 3? Maybe in 4. Cheers for giving me gemstone weapons. Where the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Most OP character apart from this motherfucker over here. Big titty. R.I.P. your bird, but really, who gave a shit? Nurse Nina. Iconic robot, not really, but also kind of also good character, not really. Basically Gunzerker, but with pistols. Basically General Knox, but yellow. Walking slab of fuck. The most unimportant siren in all of Borderlands history. Why the fuck? Also a very unimportant siren, but also why the fuck is she a siren now? Thanks for Terramorphous. Owner of Jacobs is gay man, is gay with this man. Good luck, guys. R.I.P. Also, why are you so short? Why are you so fat, bro? Also, why the fuck do you exist in the third game? You really didn't need to be in it. R.I.P. your character, they ruined you. I'm glad Jack killed you. Who the fuck are you? No one cares. They really ruined you. You could have been a lot better, bruh. Cheers for coffee. Cheers for the talk side missions. Cheers for dying and giving someone else your powers, you useless basically Machine Gun Kelly with a red arm. Basically Pokimane if she was a siren.